Hello friends, myself Rajendra Mahajan presenting my video on method of variation of parameter. Let us try to solve by method of variation of parameter. Equation is d square plus 3d plus 2 into y is equal to e raised to x. As here it is mentioned that we have to apply method of variation of parameter, or we can solve it by general method also, but here the method is mentioned, that is method of variation of parameter. Auxiliary equation is d square plus 3d plus 2 is equals to 0. Quadratic equation. Finding the factors of this equation, factors are d plus 2 and d plus 1 is equals to 0, so that the sum is 3 and the product of that is 2. Equating each to 0, we get d is equals to minus 2 and minus 1. Roots are real and different. And as the roots are real and different, way to write down CF is C1 e raised to minus 2x, C2 e raised to minus x, and we call this as equation 1, where that C1 and C2 are the arbitrary constant. Then comparing this CF with the assumed CF is equals to C1 y1 plus C2 y2 if it is a second order linear differential equation. Comparing these two equations, therefore we get y1 coefficient of C1 as e raised to minus 2x, y2 as the coefficient of C2 e raised to minus x. Then differentiating this with respect to x, we get y1 dash as minus e raised to minus 2x into 2 general. Differentiating this with respect to x, we get derivative of that term as minus e raised to minus x. Then we calculate the value of a as a determinant of y1, y2, y1 dash, y2 dash, and its value is nothing but the value of this determinant. How we can obtain it? It is y1, y2 dash minus y2, y1 dash, and therefore substituting all these four values, we get y1 is e raised to minus 2x, y2 dash is minus e raised to minus x, minus y2 e raised to minus x, and y1 dash minus 2 times e raised to minus 2x. And simplifying it further, we get this product as minus e raised to, adding the power, we get minus 3x, minus minus it becomes plus 2 times e raised to once again minus 3x. 2 minus 1 times e raised to minus 3x, we get that value as e raised to minus 3x as the value of e. Then we try to determine the value of pi. Therefore, if the question is for 5 marks, 1 mark for the CF, 1 mark for finding a. Then second part, particular integral is obtained by formula is uy1 plus v into y2, where the value of u is obtained by minus integration of y2 into phi of x. Phi of x means the right hand side of that given differential equation divided by e and its integration with respect to x. And therefore, performing this integration, minus the value of y2 is e raised to minus x. Then phi of x means the right hand side of this equation is e raised to x, and divided by a, value of a is e raised to minus 3x and its integration with respect to x. Transferring this to numerator, it becomes plus e raised to 3x, and therefore it is minus e raised to 3x into e raised to minus x into e raised to x and dx. Therefore it is minus. Adding the power, we get e raised to 2x into e raised to x dx, nothing but this e raised to 2x I can split as e raised to x into e raised to x and e raised to x. And to evaluate this integral, we use the substitution for e raised to x as t. Differentiating it with respect to x, we get e raised to x dx is equals to dt. And therefore this integral becomes minus integration of this e raised to x is t, e raised to x becomes e raised to t, and this e raised to x dx is dt. And therefore that integral is t e raised to t dt, a product of two terms of t. And therefore to evaluate it, we have to apply integration by generalized part. T is the algebraic function, second one is the exponential. Therefore first term must be t, second term as e raised to t, and therefore evaluating it by generalized part, first term t, integration of second as e raised to t, then minus derivative of t with respect to t is 1. Next integration of e raised to t is e raised to t plus derivative of 1 is 0. We stop here. And therefore we get from this two term I can take e raised to t common, and the remaining terms are t minus 1. It is e raised to t into t minus 1. We call this as equation number 2, the value of u. Therefore by this formula we can determine the value of u as minus e raised to t minus 1. And then once again if we substitute the value of t as e raised to x, it becomes minus e raised to x minus 1. Then we try to find out value of v. V is obtained by integration of y1 into phi of x divided by a and its integration with respect to x, and therefore substituting values, corresponding values. Y1 is e raised to minus 2x, phi of x is e raised to x, and a is e raised to minus 3x. Integration of, transferring this, we get minus 2x plus 3x means e raised to x only into e raised to x dx. And to evaluate this integral, once again we use the same substitution, e raised to x as t, its differentiation is e raised to x dx as dt, and therefore that integral becomes, this one is e raised to t and this e raised to x dx as dt, and its integration with respect to t is e raised to t. It is e raised to t means e raised to x. We call this equation 3. A value of v. For finding this u and v correct, you will get 1 mark once again. Then substituting that two values here in this equation of pi, the value of u, y1, v and y2, we get pi is equal to the value of u into y1, the value of y1 is e raised to minus 2x multiplied by minus e raised to x minus 1, and plus v y2, v into y2, the value of y2 is e raised to minus x into y2, it is e raised to x. Then from these two terms I can take e raised to x common. Remaining terms are multiplying here, this one is minus e raised to minus 2x into e raised to x, we get e raised to minus x product of these two. Then minus minus it become plus. E raised to minus 2x into 1, we get e raised to minus 2x. And here plus e raised to minus x. This with minus sign, this with plus sign get cancelled, and therefore pi is e raised to minus 2x multiplied by e raised to x. We call equation number 4. For this 1 mark. Then we write down the complete solution by taking the addition of the CF and this pi, and therefore complete solution is CF plus pi. Complete solution is always for the dependent variable. Dependent variable here y. CF is C1 e raised to minus 2x plus C2 e raised to minus x, and plus pi. Pi is e raised to minus 2x into e raised to x as the required answer or the required solution. And for this last step, 1 mark. Like this, total 5 marks. Therefore, once again, go through all the steps carefully. Do it yourself, step by step. What major steps we have to perform? The first one is find the CF. Then compare it with this C1 y1 plus C2 y2 to obtain the values of y1, y2, and then differentiate it to determine y1 dash and y2 dash. Then using that 4 values, find A, capital A. Then pi is equal to uy1 plus vy2, where that u is minus integration of y to phi of x divided by a, and its integration with respect to x, and v is integration of y1 into phi of x divided by a, and its integration with respect to x. Then put all that 4 values here to obtain this pi. Then combine this CF and pi to get the required solution. Therefore, these are the major steps to solve any problem by method of variation of parameter. When we have to apply this? When all the shortcut methods are not applicable. Then to solve that problem, either we have to apply method of variation of parameter or general method. Here the method is mentioned specifically. That's why I am using this method of variation of parameter. If it is not mentioned, then you can use either a general method or this method of variation of parameter. Please like my video, share it, as well as subscribe to my channel if you are not subscribed yet. And to receive the notification for my all such type of new videos, please press the bell icon. Thank you. Thanks for watching.